Welcome to the Gummy Ship Editor. This heinous, ugly abomination that you see before you of multiple clashing colors is our brand new top-of-the-line cruiser. While speeding up, there's a lot of text and controls to be done here, but just know that I'm basically the armor G pieces. The more you put determines how much health your tank has and your new ship has. You can update, you can upgrade and adjust blasters. Let me just make this all nice color palette. You can change the color of things. You can add new pieces that will. It's a nice little completely useless customization thing.
It's just sad considering it also hosts one of my favorite songs in the game.
I'm sorry.
Is it weird that the whole piping surrounding it feels more like it was ripped out of Dr. Seuss than Disney or Square Enix?
I mean, what's even funnier is the fact that if you looking at it, it's all pre-rendered, straight out of the PC scene.
Yeah.
Why not? But yeah, no. Sorry, I'm speeding this up. Yeah, no. I guess. Oh yeah, I don't think we ever really fully talked about that. Holy crap! Oh my god! I think the first time you brought it up, I believe anyways, that this was at the time my first introduction to the namesake of Yoko Shimomura.
Yep, the same composer that originally made her name known with Street Fighter 2, then went on to do a lot of stuff for Square Enix and the like. They did Legend of Mana, the Kingdom Hearts series, and for the sake of Nintendo, she did a whole bunch of stuff for them, namely Super Mario RPG and the Mario and Luigi series.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And,
Woman knows how to make a good song.
Yep,
and yes,
she is.
And yes, one of her biggest claims to fame, at least for the Mario series anyway, is the ever famous Forest Maze song.
Oh
yeah, she did do that one.
Among other Mario
the
tracks.
Somnum Woods, I believe.
No. He's talking about the song that plays when you're going through the forest maze looking for Gino.
Yeah, you can wear the forest mushrooms.
Okay, never mind.
Although she did do that one
worries.
too, and that one's one of my favorite tracks from Dream Team.
Yeah, she did that one as well. She did all the stuff for she did all the games that Alpha Dream did. Oh,
yeah.
So we have ourselves a warp hole, which is the way warp holes work. Which is, again, it's kind of silly that. We also got a new dash boost.
Oh, thank goodness! We can actually speed this up a bit.
A little bit. So we have some new, but we can only charge when it's fully. It's like a Epona meter. We have to wait for it to be fully.
I guess actually a more appropriate comparison would probably be with Star Fox 64 and its own. What I call energy meter, because you use that for the sake of speeding up or pulling the brakes.
Right.
Scan-G
also allows me to get a new score and a new meter, and there's our warp hole. These, if I go right into them, Dale, I'm about to do it. Jeez.
Anyway,
this is how we go to new areas. And, again, it's kind of silly that there's all this reverence given to this, and it's like, wow, that's incredible. We're never going to do that ever again.
But yeah,
You never have to go into it more than once, because now we have the Warp G. We can just continue. No worries.
Gems was making the Star Fox 64 comparison, and I'm just thinking, this thought in my mind of you're becoming more like your father.
I have one of those?
Me? I don't know.
You're
like the son I've never had.
I think I'm going to name you Maxie.
By the way, Sora, is your mother single?
And the best part is we don't canonically know at this point.
And you know what? Now I'm just thinking, hey sis, so your girlfriend, is she single?
Is she single?
You know, I wanted.
So. Go ahead.
Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
This is the shit we do. This is the shit we question because Sora's mom actually got at least one line.
They really could have just removed it in any other release, and it has zero bearing on the plot.
Exactly.
I really would love to see in a future Kingdom Hearts game what that poor woman is up to now and what she thinks of all these adventures that Sora's going on.
I really would wonder, but just in time. We just finished our traveling. We've now made it to the second arc.
Oh, wait a minute, guys! I just realized something. I'm getting this sudden message to quote a potential word from our sponsors. That being that this part is brought to you in part by Sand. It's everywhere.
Get used to it.
And now for the OTP.
I love how every one of us knew that reference.
To be fair, we kind of made me put that reference in Odyssey when we did all those.
It's a fun
years ago. Because it just fits. It just fit too perfectly. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Hey, Gilbert. So yeah, no. Again, I still love.
Yaga looks
I
so
still love this
weird.
franchise.
Yeah.
I still love this franchise for doing pretty much everything they could to bring back every actor that were still around for their roles.
Around or
active,
alive, and I feel like Aladdin is definitely one of the best examples of that, because aside from Genie, pretty much everyone came back.
And technically, Genie did come back. Depends on which iteration of him.
Well, the Genie people want, I guess should say.
Okay. Disney well, Robin Williams has always kind of had a rocky history with Disney ever since they went
behind his
against
back.
a request of his, and in hindsight, he really should have gotten it in writing, but of course that doesn't mean it
Yes.
wasn't not right for them to do, because they pretty much plastered his name everywhere in the advertising to sell things, which is what he did not want.
Right,
That's
and
why-
that's part.
That's why Dan Castellaneta replaced him in the Ass sequel, Return of
And
Jafar,
then the spin-off TV
And
show.
and the,
but I
and
hear
the
and the
series.
TV show, yes, and in
I hear the
and
TV
in
show is
this.
I mean,
Which
don't
bit-
get me wrong,
yes.
Dan Castellaneta didn't do a bad Genie.
No, but
What's up,
it
James?
still sounds like Homer.
It's a little, but what's up, James?
I think a
What's
lot of
up,
it just
James?
has to do with the. I'm sorry.
I was gonna. He was about to say something. What was that,
Honestly,
James?
I'm going to keep quiet for the rest of this commentary because this is pretty much the Princess Ali, Fabulous She, Ali Power show.
Hey, I have plenty to say about Land 2.
Well, basically, those of us that actually grew up with the movie, which does not include me. I honestly, the most
Oh,
I didn't even
dude.
get to see the movie in full until I got my Disney Plus subscription.
Also, you got it wrong. It would be Princess Ali.
That's what I said, Princess Ali.
Oh, I only
Did you
hear
hear
that
that
part.
part?
I heard it. No
Anyway,
worries.
moving on.
If you watch Return of
So-
Jafar on Disney Plus, you're kind of missing out.
I think that's
I'll
fair.
get to it eventually.
They censored Jafar's death sequence.
Really.
Did I thought we went over that it wasn't really that big of a censoring.
They got rid of the flashing skeleton. They got rid of his visible skeleton and the flashing lights.
Well, that I
the
just
flashing lights make sense.
But the
To remove the
skeleton, on
flashing
the
lights-
other
Just put a warning on.
pansies.
I mean,
Like,
they did
okay.
it for some
I
Los
do not
Amigos.
like. Sorry.
I was just saying that this was something we learned just recently through our own movie marathon. They did for Saludos Amigos, after that being my second time actually watching it, where they did censor it the first time. Then they did that little thing that Disney Plus can be weird with its censoring practices.
They
Yeah.
can. They're trying to do. They're trying to do a lot to try and bring things to some modernization, and it doesn't work all the time. But
It
wait,
really-
what's making
you
that
know-
racket? Oh,
It's
Oh,
the
the carpet's stuck.
the hell! Oh, how you doing, man? Give me some tassel.
Yo, Rugman.
Give me some tassel.
Oh,
Hey,
well,
hey, yeah.
well, he left.
Look at me from the side. Do I look different to you?
You're a lot smaller than my last master.
But
Yeah,
oh,
so-
We're gonna be making
Platforming?
a lot of Genie references in this.
It's gonna be a whole thing.
course.
It is one of our.
Oh, speaking
it's
of-
one of our favorite movies, but
speaking of Genie, I did want to go back to that to give my own thoughts on Dan. I kind of agree with
This is
people in the
awkward.
fact that and I
There
feel
we go.
bad because I don't think it's really Dan's fault, because he's kind of put into a position where it's no matter what he can do, he kind of can't win, because Dan by himself is a great voice actor, but the problem is that he's asked to fill in for Robin Williams,
Oh.
and Robin Williams is someone that,
Yeah.
like the Genie said, you can't really replicate.
yeah.
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, some guys actually can replicate him very well, but at least in terms of the voice.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's a thing.
like,
I mean,
I don't
random.
know.
I know. I know it's a random thought, but I still think the lead singer in freaking Talking Heads in that song "Once in a Lifetime," I think he sounds a lot like Robin Williams in those
Oh,
spoken
that,
lines.
never mind.
Actually, okay.
Yeah.
Another bit of trivia. In Kingdom Hearts Recoded, they did get a guy to replace Dan Castellaneta, and he sounds a freaking lot like Robin Williams. It's
Actually,
pretty
hang
uncanny.
I didn't think
I
they
can't
do
remember
that.
the
Hang on,
guy's
let me pull
name.
that up real quick. see.
Well, while we recount on that, so at this point, James, is this kind of like from this point forward, everything's a little bit more blind for you into this game, or have you at least watched this game?
Oh, I've seen this game to its completion, so I know more or less everything that's going to be happening between here and then the end of the world.
Okay, so
Okay.
So BTVA doesn't have Genie put on here for some reason. For
well,
Recoded
no
anyway.
worries.
Are you?
Oh,
boy.
we've been found.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit!
Hey, Jafar.
Why are you skulking around here,
Jasmine,
creeper?
allow me to find you more suitable company, my dear.
I will say, from what I remember of Jafar, it never quite gets quite as impactful as the first movie for me.
Well, to be fair,
no,
you
of
can say
course
that about a lot of stuff.
Well,
mean, okay.
just from his delivery mainly. I'm not even talking about everything else that goes along with it.
Oh boy.
Well, now we have to go fight some more Heartless while we
But-
try and find Princess Jasmine and save her.
But I can kind of agree. It's like, because I think a lot of it just has to do with the fact that, like, I feel like they don't give him, like, a whole lot to chew on in this game. Because, like, the first film, he definitely had a lot. And you know what? I'll give Return of Jafar credit. I actually think he was fairly entertaining in that as well, in spite of all the other problems that film has.
Some abilities on.
I mean, that's kind of what happens when you bet on what was supposed to be just an extended pilot of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the animation just does not look good.
Do you have? Okay, I'll say, Seely, do you have any like particular thoughts on? You know, just to get back to what we're talking about here. Do you have any particular feelings about the Aladdin legacy?
Well, I personally didn't think the TV show was that bad. To tell you the truth, I kind of wish they would bring it to Disney Plus.
I'm still
Well,
shocked they
yeah.
haven't to this day. As of this recording, we should stress.
Right.
Well, you know,
And,
yeah,
yeah,
the
go ahead.
TV show, it's good. I'm just saying, Return of Jafar it kind of looks like ass. I'm sorry.
Well, it was.
Okay.
So would you say it
I'm
would
so
make?
sorry, I spaced out. I thought you were talking about the TV show. I will
Oh no,
agree
God
with-
no!
yeah.
I know TV animation's not gonna look, as good as film animation.
Yeah, but I will agree that Return of Jafar is definitely the weakest of the three.
So
Yeah.
what you're? Well, I mean, I guess that goes without saying. But I guess if you were to compare it to the TV show, would you say it's not that great of a pilot?
It's not. I mean, okay. I will say it does a pretty solid job. Okay. If there's anything, and I don't know if it says a whole lot about me, but one of my favorite things about Return of Jafar is I like how it gave Iago a chance to redeem himself.
I do agree with that.
Because I do think Iago makes for a fun, if not sassy. Oh, by the way, Aladdin. I think
yeah.
Iago makes for a. I
Oh
think
yeah, he's
I
in
think
this.
Iago
The
makes
title
for
character.
Yeah.
I think Iago makes for a fun, sassy, deuteragonist or whatever the word would be called.
Deuteragonist?
Deuteragonist.
Deuteragonist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
kind
think
of.
he works.
It's kind of amusing because it's like going into like my experience with Aladdin. My first Aladdin film, it was actually King of Thieves. So when I got to
that's
the
a good
first film, it was kind of amusing seeing him like. I'm so used to seeing him being like his sidekick. It's like, oh, that's right. There was a point where he was technically evil.
Right. I mean, I guess that is
One of
also
my
something I
mom's
will say
favorite
regarding.
movies, and she would watch it all the time with me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could also say, like, as far as, like, to continue on with my own thoughts on the brand, it's like, just contrary to what I said earlier, like, I've definitely known about the brand in general. Like, I've seen it, like, I've known about it for, like, years and years. It's just that, for some odd reason, I just never got around to actually watching the first movie in full till just recently.
Oh, and it holds up. I
And,
think.
and honestly, a part of me is kicking myself for not watching the whole thing sooner.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like, this would very much have been, like, childhood crack.
Wait, which
Oh,
one?
wow. Which one was just to get rid of him?
Yeah, I was about to say like.
Could have just waited like 5 minutes.
You need to be a bit more specific with your wishes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sora.
But he
Just-
still
just
tricked her.
glad
But
What are you doing out here?
I was gonna say, but the fact that we found him outside means he still managed to trick him out of the Cave of Wonders. So he still got
Or
that.
we
at
got
least.
him out.
To the Cave of Wonders.
Well, no, he was outside the Cave of Wonders when we found him.
That magic carpet.
So he did manage to still technicality,
Legend has it that whoever
trick him,
holds the land
sheepish and all.
summon with
Leave the intros to a professional. The one and only.
Do 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 do. Ooh.
Rub-a-dub-dub the lamp and have your dearest wishes
Ooh.
granted.
How does Japanese genie manage to be more over the top?
Because
Well-
Japanese.
My fine
That, and I think this is also working.
wishes.
Actually,
Oh, what
I think there's still. Or no, wait.
I'm looking up the voice actor for Japanese genie.
Honestly, I can't even tell if they're still syncing up to the English and stuff or not.
Well, from what I can tell, when it comes to like the more detailed lip syncing, they're usually pretty good about keeping it like close enough to where it would fool someone.
Right, and I mean, there's also the matter of fact that this was literally like just barely as that what was this, the sixth, seventh? I think it was the sixth generation of gaming just started. So
Yeah.
you know, there's still a lot they needed to learn, and this, well, you know, no better testing grounds than to animate the genie.
Hey, I'll even throw in a cappuccino.
No thanks.
Koichi Yamadura.
Okay.
So we'll hold off on
After all
the,
of that.
So we'll hold off on all the movie stuff, and I think Sonia already talked about this, but I do like. So I think one of my favorite things about Kingdom Hearts 1 is that every Disney movie world doesn't even like necessarily follow the plot of its movie to a T. That only really started happening in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah,
better or
and even
worse.
and to that point was kind of a detriment considering it didn't really mesh all that well with our quest. It
Right,
it was mostly just us being put into the movie.
Right, and I mean, if you're lucky, because that was a big thing that people pointed out in either Kingdom Hearts 2 and definitely in Kingdom Hearts 3 was the issues that when you do that, it really kind of makes Sora and Donald Goofy feel that much more inconsequential to what's going on.
And to
they're
an extent, Sora.
observers.
To them, they're literally just, you know, experiencing the movie with them.
Right, but
Oh,
here
I
we're
wish I
like
had my
smack dab right
popcorn.
in.
I guess you don't get out much, huh?
Heh. Yeah, no, here we're just smack dab in it and outright affecting what's going on in the plot.
Oh, I found it, you
Pretty
guys.
much.
Wishes, then back to my
Koichi
What's up, Stevie?
Yamadura, the Japanese voice for
I'd like to
Genie,
see the
also
light of
voiced
day every
Mew.
century or two.
Oh.
And,
Mew was in Pokemon Mew?
yeah, Pokemon Mew.
Use my last
Well, that's a hell of a
Well,
leap.
that's weird.
Yeah, like that's a different vocal range.
You know,
Yeah,
it
I
kind of
know.
reminds me of how the Japanese voice of Donald is also one of the voices of Lupin.
Actually,
Or how Iago is
actually,
Kenshiro.
guys, that's him. He's also the Japanese voice for Donald.
Oh, so pretty much a jack of all trades.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
So,
I mean,
what can you tell us about Aladdin as an ally?
Oh, so Aladdin is definitely he actually is
Oh yeah, and he's
for
also
now for
sorry. He's also the Japanese voice for Mushu, Sebastian, and Beast.
So pretty
yes,
much
he
every
gets
other
around.
side character for Disney.
yeah,
Alright.
dubbing gets around. But so yeah, as far as Aladdin, so for now, for the most part, a lot of our characters that we're saving, all the people that we recruit are more or less melee based. Aladdin can hit a lot faster with his scimitar than Tarzan could with a stick, but
A stick or a spear?
Aladdin, spear. Sorry, a pointy stick. Aladdin also comes with a few
pointy stick.
support abilities. Other than that, I mean, I feel bad for saying that as far as our allies are concerned, except for maybe one, that being, the Atlantica world, because their combat works out a little bit differently than it does here. Apart from that, like, a lot of the characters, they kind of blur together to me. Like, I can't say, like, oh, Aladdin is useful in these circumstances while Tarzan is not, especially since little unspoken rule is they cannot leave their world.
Of course.
I mean, I know some of them
Yeah.
do have their own small, perks, kind of like how Sora, Donald, and Goofy do. But it's kind of one of those cases where unless you really dive deep into it, you're not gonna get much mileage out of them. So you're probably better off just sticking to, the usual three.
Can I just...
Because the game will auto equip certain abilities
Oh,
and
boy.
auto equip them with certain items. Like they really try to make it a very simple process with them.
Hey, if I can
Yeah.
go back real quick, that animation that Sora does whenever he unlocks certain doors, I love the animation itself where he's just kind of like just slides into it. He's like, zoop!
Yeah.
Let's
it's
get
like,
it
You know
on
what
this mess.
You know what else I learned about that voice actor?
Yeah.
Also the Japanese voice for Donkey in Shrek and Manny in Ice Age.
You'd be surprised how many. Like Japanese dubbing, like they're practically like freaking. Oh, I forgot his damn name.
Who's?
Hi, guy who used to voice. Was it Mel Gibson? I'm thinking of.
Oh, what character are you thinking of?
Just like the people who come with a bunch of voices.
Mel
The
Blanc?
man of 100. Mel Blanc. Thank
Mel
you.
Blanc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mel
I've
Blanc.
heard
not Mel
Blanc.
Gibson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mel
Mel,
Gibson.
sorry. I know a lot of Mels. Mel Brooks, Mel Gibson, Mel Blanc, and
It wouldn't be the first time
Yeah.
I've heard someone confuse Mel Blanc for Mel Gibson.
I will not allow you.
I
But
can't
yeah,
tell you
like,
how
you'd
many
be
times I
surprised how
saw
many-
this cutscene.
we're coming up to a particularly tricky boss fight if you're not careful.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh,
And
he wasted his second wish.
One wish left. You're making this really easy, you
and
know?
yeah.
So sorry, boy. I'm afraid your second
Wait,
wish
what?
has been denied.
Oh,
Whoop.
God damn it.
Wait, what the?
maybe you should have pocketed it. And in the most on and off bit of plot device,
Poor Jasmine.
right away,
Okay. That,
And now,
that cutscene
Right.
happened.
bid you all farewell.
But and as Gui's referring to, in the original Kingdom Hearts release, any cutscene that you saw had to play the entire time, whereas in 1.5,
You can skip them.
yeah, you can skip them as long as you've seen them at least once. Thank goodness.
I figured she was also saying that because I take it this encounter gave her a bit of trouble growing up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
yeah,
it
same.
did.
This gave me a lot of trouble. So
Yeah,
this is the
I remember this boss being nasty as well.
So the problems with it, this is the pot centipede, by the way. The issues with this is just what you're seeing right here. It's going to summon a lot of these pot spider enemies, and it really is like you're basically dealing with a huge swarm of them. And if you don't know how to contend with them, and if you don't know how to parry them, the issue that you'll find yourself in, because it happened to me, is you'll be low on health, and if an enemy hits you while you're doing cure, it'll interrupt your animation and interrupt the heal. So, if you have a swarm of them after you like this, it's really easy for them to keep the pressure on and you to have no chance of, being able to recover. And that's where I think a lot of the difficulty of this comes from. So long as you are good at being able to single out and keep the swarm at bay, like, don't just ignore them, you need to try and keep their numbers low. As long as you can do that, boss isn't too hard after that.
There you go.
Yeah, I also remind the
Yay.
audience that Jasmine was stuck in a pot, and we just broke that pot.
Yay, it's the Mario, all the people are blocks lore.
Oh boy.
But don't worry, he's a magic man, so he made her go away.
Oof.
well, fuck.
Yeah.
Welp.
So, in the next part, join us as, well, we kind of have to go, we've already been spending plenty of time in Agrabah. It's time to go to the other grand, set piece of this movie. So, stay tuned.
Wish you had a friend like me, huh?
No one told me this was a Touchstone production.